yeah, I think it's cool that people are coming together and collecting, putting their money together and kind of like sharing a vision, and that kind of creates collaboration. And that's the whole like ethos of blockchain, collaboration instead of like competition. Like it's like healthy competition. So yeah, I think DAOs that are kind of collecting together, I think it's really awesome.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Yo.
What's going on? ¿Qué tal, Matt?
Man, I am so excited to have Illestrater on the podcast today. Tim Kang, one of the top collectors in the NFT space, the founder of Seven's Genesis Grant, helping so many artists mint their first pieces and empowering them to really explore all that this space has to offer. What are you guys excited about?
Yeah, we're just both so excited.
Yeah,
I can tell. I can tell.
I'm really excited to get to know his perspective on the future of DAOs and how that's really affecting the marketplace bidding. And he just seems like such an intelligent and a well-spoken human that was just really excited to dive into his mind and see how it all works.
For sure. A wise man once told me, I believe it was actually Alejandro, that it may be hard to own a Van Gogh, but you can own a Beeple. So I think it was very interesting to have Illestrater on here because as a collector, as a Beeple owner, he's truly a patron of the arts. Not only is he really working to empower, he has his grant program, Seven Genesis Grant, that we dive into, but he really is empowering this new wave of art. And to see it from his perspective, not only as kind of this patron, but also as a collector. And he's not just trying to flip, but there is some thoughtfulness as to what he is working to collect, and he kind of peels back the curtains on that. So really appreciated and enjoyed that. One last thing though, before we do jump into the episode, if you haven't already, really do want to encourage everybody that's tuning in to go sign up for our newsletter, nftnow.co. Every single week we'll be sending you a digest of some of the best drops, some of the thoughtful analysis, what to keep your eyes out for, artists that are really starting to make major waves in the community. You don't want to miss out, so be sure to sign up, nftnow.co. But without any further ado, Illestrater.
Tim, so good to have you on the podcast, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just flew in yesterday, and just first time in Miami by myself, so it's been a good time so far. And thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on here.
You picked a great week to come.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk a little bit about your journey to becoming an NFT collector. Take us through it. Take us through that first Beeple auction as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, so I've been in crypto for a bit, like kind of like always like looking for something like opportunity and like new things, innovations and stuff. And then I stumbled upon Super Rare through Murat Pak's work, and his stuff was just very like conceptually like clean and aesthetic. And so like I was like, oh, this is like on Ethereum, so I'd like to like give it a shot and collect something, just try it out. And then there was this piece called the Mobius Snot that I was like, it looks really dope. It's like kind of like his logo in a sense. It's like it's a circle, and then it's just like spinning, and I don't know, it just looked really dope. So I was like, all right, this is the one. And then after that, I kind of, after buying that piece, people started like following me on Twitter. I was like, what's happening? Like why are people following me? And I had like 200 followers at the time. Yeah. And I'm like pretty like quiet and low key about my social presence and being online. And so that was kind of my first foray. And then so I realized like, wait, something's happening here. Like this is like an experience I've never like imagined would have happened, like following after. And then and I connected with him as well. Like this guy who's, created Art Collect, just like a top, curation, account. Like, it was just really cool to me to connect with someone.
Yeah. For sure.
Just from like being like a patron of his work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized like, dang, like is this what like it feels like to be like in the art space, I guess. Like, I don't come from like an art background. Like I love music, that's kind of my passions and stuff. But yeah, so that was kind of my intro. And then people actually reached out to me, and he was like, because he saw that I bought that. And then he was like, hey man, like I'm working on this thing, like you should check it out. I was like, yeah, man, like I would love to. And like, it was crazy that he reached out. and he just showed me the box and like the kind of like the physical pairing of his work in this digital infinity objects. And then when I saw that, I was like, wait, this is it. Like, and like getting into crypto, I've been waiting for something that could really communicate to the world that it's not just like this stock, it's not just crypto. People kind of like just see it as this like investment, like stock thing, So I was like, there's a lot more to it, like application based. And so I realized maybe art again is going to be the way to communicate to the world, like what blockchain is really about, and just like get people to start thinking about it, And so when that auction came around, I just wanted to participate in a sense, because I thought it was gonna make history.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's kind of like, that was my intro to NFTs. And I mean, I've known about like CryptoPunks. Yeah, I've known about like CryptoPunks and CryptoKitties, but at that time I didn't like fully like understand and get it that these kind of like first digital collectibles were going to be so kind of like historic and like timeless. But like when it came to like digital artists, and then saying that money can go directly to them, and they now have a way to kind of sustain themselves without having to depend on a lot else, and they can just like focus on the work and making the stuff that they like that was just like the most beautiful thing to me, because it's just like straight empowering, and that's just what I love about the space. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. No, I absolutely love it, and I think you definitely have been working to empower artists and support their arts, not only through kind of what you collect personally, but even, I mean, like the 7 Genesis grants, I mean, is a really special project. Can you talk a little bit about what exactly it is and kind of the vision you have there?
Yeah, for sure. Like it's really special to me. Like, after that Beeple auction in December, and like we thought it was gonna take time for things to like really take off, and so the whole initiative was because of gas fees.
Right.
And Mike Darlington, he was like on Clubhouse. We were on Clubhouse together, and he brought up the topic like, yeah, but what about gas fees, right? But then the topic was like kind of like just ignored, pushed under the rug, and then because he's kind of like a champion for artists in a sense, to me, in my opinion. He just really wants to empower people, and that's what I love about him. And so it was like a big concern to me, because like this technology is supposed to represent like global opportunity, equal opportunity. And if it's going to cost like $50 to $200, that's just to try it out. Like it's really going to deter, artists from an opportunity that could really change their lives. Right. And so the idea just like came to me like, okay, so why don't we just kind of like create a fund and just like make it free to just give it a shot. And then we try to do what we could to kind of like help introduce people and artists into the space. And so I reached out to artists that I've collected that I admired and said like, hey, like I have this idea, like would y'all like to push this initiative with me? And then we just kind of all the artists were like totally down. They were so kind to join in and be like, yeah. And then they kind of pushed it out together. And yeah, we got like tons of submissions, and like it's been awesome.
Dude, man, that's amazing, bro. It sounds like you guys are putting in for the great effort to become a bridge for upward mobility and economic development, and also like giving people the platform to express themselves. So from that standpoint, like what are some of the success stories that have come out of it, and like what's a case study that you just see it as a champion for the grant itself?
Yeah. So I think it's just like, I don't know, some artists have come to me saying like, this is like thank you. This has really like opened my eyes to things, and like in like a life-changing way. And like just hearing that like just like makes me like so like emotional, right? And because that was what I wanted. And we actually like took a lot of time to actually put their pieces up, because I kind of made like a promise without having everything fully ready. So like I was like, yeah, like I want to do this right, you know. I don't want to just like mint like and fund like on random platforms where things would just get lost, and then, you know, maybe the opportunity isn't as good as, you know, it could be. So I just started to like, and then there were people who wanted to participate in the community, like how can I support? And I'm just like, and I really appreciated it, but like I didn't know how. I was like, how do I get people involved? And then so it was just like it was a process of me like trying to understand like where I should take it, what I should build. And then so I kind of had like a couple months to, I kind of put, I like the grantees were like so patient with me, and like I really like appreciate that they kind of trusted that, you know, I would deliver something. And fortunately, like the platform is all done. And so the past like few months I've been like just grinding it out, like wake up, code, do work, eat coffee, and sleep, and then like 7 days a week.
Has there been a favorite grantee of yours that you like that you're kind of keeping your pulse on?
Yeah, there.
Or something that stands out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wish there were more people aware, I guess, of Sevens, because there's some really like dope art that's not getting bids yet. We just like kind of like announced and launched our exhibition maybe like a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. But there's, you know, I think like there's been like good sales and like so far, but there's this guy, Kevin Rupp, and his piece is like, it's just like the most like, it just like tells a story in a sense in a great analogical way. And it's like you know, the Microsoft's word Clippy. Okay. And it's like he's sitting there like homeless, and he's got like a please help or yeah, like he had, you know, like a sign, and then there's just like passerbys. And so it was kind of like it was just really cool framing. But yeah, that piece was pretty cool to me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. And, you know, I know that there have been a number of Sevens Genesis grant initiatives. I know you partnered with Paris Hilton on an initiative to empower female artists.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about how that initiative came together, and also your thoughts about how, like, what she did right in entering the space, sort of as a celebrity. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, now that NFTs have kind of hit the mainstream and got like big attention, there's been a lot of people who have kind of like come into this space and opportunity and technology with solely the intention of like making money, and then not supporting everyone else, I guess, you know. And Paris is kind of like a one-off, honestly. Like she really came in and really took the time to understand and like connect with people and put people on and just like sharing. And so like that was incredible to see. And then she had tweeted like, hey, like I'd love to donate to your charity. How can I? And then I was like, oh damn, like
that moment, okay. Like,
yeah, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And then so I reached out to her, and then we kind of live close in proximity. So her and her fiance invited me to their place, and I got to meet them, and just hung out. Like they're amazing people, and yeah. And then like, but like I was also kind of like thinking like where can I support? Like how can I make like an opportunity just how can I create more opportunities together, I guess. And so it was like at this initial phase where actually taking a step back a little bit, like when we first had our first grantees and submissions, I needed to figure out a way to kind of tailor and curate all the submissions, because we did want kind of like artists that, you know, have determination and have put in the work in the past, you know. And so like there needed to be kind of like a way to curate and narrow some of these grantees down. And so I created this UI where for the committee, for the artists that I initially reached out to go through and kind of select the ones that they liked. And so going through that process, I realized well, it was kind of janky at first. Like it was like slow. And so I was like, okay, I need to make this better. And then, but like it worked. It worked in a way, you know, like, so I was like, okay, so how can I make this better and maybe create more opportunities with this? And then that's when I realized, oh, this should just become like a framework. And then maybe there can be like other exhibitions with other visions and intentions because there's so many good causes out there, you know? And so, and yeah, and then I was just like, wait, like, why don't we just do like a women's empowerment exhibition together? And then they're like, it's a pretty good idea. Like, and then, but I wasn't like pushing, but it was just like the idea that came to me. I was like, maybe we could do something cool here. And then we ended up doing it. And there were just so many submissions, and like, yeah, I'm just like so thankful for it. Like it's been exciting. And then, yeah, I'm excited for that exhibition to open. Yeah.
That's powerful, man. Super exciting, as are we. I know, I mean, you've been in the crypto world for a while. You've seen the market, the technology itself mature. I mean, you kind of mentioned that NFTs were this kind of amazing thing to really bring a little more attention to the kind of application to more mainstream culture. As you think from a bird's eye view, as this kind of continues to grow and evolve, like, what do you think are some of the next major milestones in the continued like adoption of NFTs as a whole?
Well, I think the tech could be better. Like they're like NFTs are very primitive right now, I think. Just from the standpoint of like more versatile options for structuring like data and files and stuff. It's yeah, there's just like a lot more that can be built. Like for example, like maybe you can update your image, right? Or like or an art piece to like a next version, but still have the old one. Like, I don't know. It's just like there's just a lot to be built. And so there's a lot of opportunity out there for developers to create interesting projects and tools. And step by step, we're seeing that. So I think the next steps are really going to be iterative in a sense. Like the projects that we're seeing are very like everything that like really, you know, reaches the community is like something kind of new, and then everyone's excited about it. And then the next week someone's coming out with something more, even like more dope. And then, you know, so I think it's going to be an iterative thing. But maybe on a macro scale, not sure. I might have an answer in a bit, but
Can always circle back.
No, I love that though.
Yeah.
'Cause, too, I mean, a lot of times, I mean, like even just the buying process right now, beyond just some of the cool innovations yet to come. I mean, even just for your point on the tech, I mean, just the basic checkout process for a lot of like transactions is still not friendly for the mainstream market.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see how much traction there has been amidst the friction in that experience, and how that opens up plenty more doors as it continues to evolve.
yeah, for sure. Agreed.
Yeah, I kind of want to. This is actually a bridge point for us, because I want to bring on your collector hat. Right, like I know we've talked a lot about the technology platform, but you're also curating your own collection in this process, right? What are some of the questions that you go through from an internal standpoint with yourself as to like what is considered criteria for you to invest in or collect?
Yeah. So it's kind of changed in a sense, like my criteria and going through everything, I think. But I think what's stayed core to me is finding artists that aren't well known yet. Because but they make like really amazing things, you know? So I kind of look for artists that maybe it's their first piece actually, you know, and like a Genesis piece has a lot of like, you know, special like significance, you know, and so just seeking out people that are new but have a lot of talent, and there's actually so many people out there, and a lot of like some of the best artists are actually like just now getting into it, you know, they will, because, you know, taking your time with things I feel like is reflective of good work in a sense, I think. And so a lot of like, you know, the best are still like have yet to, you know, come into the space. And, you know, and a lot of this talent have not fully like built a social following either, you know? And so you kind of have to like really, well, for me, I just kind of follow people on Twitter that I just follow like what appeals to me, I guess. But trying to seek out like new people, I think. Yeah.
For sure. Makes total sense. And, you know, I know we've talked a little bit about our shared love for music, specifically dance music. And,
yeah, for sure.
As a collector, I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think sort of like the state of music NFTs is
yeah.
currently and how that can evolve or improve, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of opportunity actually. Just the things are not fully built out yet. For music, I did collect some works on Catalog, and there was this track by EPROM, and it was so like expressive and like it was amazing, honestly. Like it was just such a good track. But I think like a lot of people are not putting their best work out there yet as an NFT. So
what makes you think what's causing that?
I don't know. It just maybe people want to try something first.
Like dipping a toe in the water before jumping into the deep end.
Yeah. And but it's still very nascent. And I think Justin Blau is really thinking forward. I mean, he's been like the champion of NFTs since 2017, you know, and that's why he's a legend. Like who I consider a legend in this context, because he's been thinking. He's really thinking about things, and I think like, you know, creating a collectible item or like a collectible song or even like like a part of a what is it called again?
Like a loop or a snippet?
Yeah, like a sample. A stem or a stem. Yeah, sorry.
Stem.
I just blanked out. Like a stem or something like, I feel like you could slice and dice things and then like package like, you know, shares and creator shares and like, you know, just redo everything, you know, from the ground up, but all of that doesn't exist yet. Yeah. So I think the models will definitely change. I mean, we're seeing it right now. Like, I think it was Gareth Emery, he made a tweet like, you know how artists kind of like, they were kind of sharing their bids, like incremental bids that were happening on an auction live. But he like, instead of the actual a dollar amount or ether amount, he was doing it in like Spotify plays. Oh my God. Yeah, and it was like 1 million Spotify plays, like 2 million. That was like, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, like this is like a really dope tweet, because like, yeah, it was just kind of like putting everything in context.
Yeah,
and it's
just
just
that perspective.
Yeah.
I love that. No, I mean, it's interesting too, just thinking about the rights management. I mean, we bring up Blau with regards to like stems and potential just like automated royalty payments for all the producers and pieces coming together. I mean, photography, film. I mean, there's just so much like copyrighted work, and to the extent that there can be some level of like true ownership built into the content itself, I mean, that becomes very interesting. So it'll be cool to see how that evolves as well within the space. When you think about like artists too, I know you were kind of mentioning about work that speaks out, but like what are just like some specific artists or projects that you love and that you're really excited about right now?
I just saw something called Ethlings. I thought that was cool. Like you could kind of like customize you could customize the NFT, and I'm guessing that I didn't look too deeply into it. I didn't get
a metaverse avatar, right?
Yeah. I didn't have time to spend too much time looking at it. It seemed like it was just like you could kind of customize, and like the NFT state would change, but then based on that state, it would like what's represented would be different. And so that kind of like customizability, I think, I mean, it's very, very basic, like from like a traditional sense, but just seeing that is like really cool, because that's how primitive this is right now, you know? And so projects that are really kind of like doing more with the data, I think is just really cool. And I think artists that are really keep up to date with these kind of like technology, and I think they're gonna stand the test of time, because like it shows that they're keeping up and innovating with their craft as well. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
For sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really fascinating, man. I think you spoke to two different aspects of like organizations, technology, but now like let's talk about like DAOs. Let's talk about these new organisms that are in the space, that are essentially governance. For our listeners who don't know what a DAO is, it's a decentralized autonomous organization. It's like a new concept that's being built on chain to take on a single mission or multiple missions based on like a democratic ran organization. What are your thoughts on DAO collectors and what they're doing to the market right now?
Oh, I think it's really cool. I think it's like some people really share a vision together, and to kind of band together. Maybe DAO is not the exact word for grouping together and collecting. It's more of like, DAO means like, well, what I consider a DAO is like open to anyone. So, but I guess it works too. But yeah, I think it's cool that people are coming together and collecting, putting their money together and kind of like sharing a vision, and that kind of creates collaboration. And that's the whole like ethos of blockchain, collaboration instead of like competition. Like it's like healthy competition, So yeah, I think DAOs that are kind of collecting together, I think it's really awesome. And I think there's even going to be more innovation there too. Like there's there might be DAOs that are just very open access that I think is going to come, and seeing that play out is going to be really, really cool and interesting, because DAOs are very powerful. They usually, the kind of decentralized governance, the communities usually make the best decisions, in the best capacity that they can, and they really work. They really make interesting decisions together and band together, and really like kind of like sharing the minds of like so many people together. It just like creates. It's just like it's smart. There's just like a lot of intelligence when you pull it together. And so yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of DAOs coming out, especially with different products.
Yeah, as a collector yourself too, I know we touched on a couple pieces that you've collected, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on going through your collection. I'm sure you feel some sentimental attachment. Certain pieces are really meaningful to you. Would just love to hear about a few of the pieces that really stand out, that have a lot of meaning to you in your collection. Yeah,
I would say the first piece that I collected, that just changed everything. It's just representative of the experience. The Beeple piece also, like, that to me, like, it just represents something very significant to me. And also an artist, Rafiq Anadol, there was a charity, Open Earth charity auction, where all the proceeds would go into carbon emission research. And I considered Rafiq like an AI, like GAN legend, visually. And so like, and it like the piece like is 17 minutes long, and then you're just watching like using like just like millions and millions and millions of photos, and it just like it's crazy that it like evolves into like new. I don't know. You just need to see it. It's just like
I've seen it. It's amazing. That was actually a pretty good description. Better than I could have done.
It's just you just gotta see it. It's just
That's awesome. And when you think too about the starting to like showcase collections, like what excites you? I know there's cool ways to do galleries in the metaverse. I mean, we're here in Miami right now during Crypto Week. There's lots of like IRL galleries. It's only going to continue to evolve, like Instagram for showcasing NFTs. Like it's already in development. Like when you think about the future of collectors showcasing their collection, what excites you? What do you think will kind of really emerge as some of the pioneering models?
Yeah, honestly, like the this opportunity is also very nascent and big because like, when I first started collecting, I wanted to display it, and so I'd put things on my TV, just the file. I would just get the file and then throw it on there, and then, but that feeling was really cool because I was like, dang, like I own this piece, like I own this visual, and just playing it on my TV, but kind of like more integrated options just are kind of lacking right now, and so I think as that kind of tech gets built out and becomes more seamless, and it's like very interoperable with through an app, I guess. Honestly, any digital screen, any TV could become like something that showcases NFTs, and like it's gonna be crazy. Like I think maybe there'll be like NFTs where you could just like, you'll see like on the streets, it's just like there, and then you can like scan it and like literally purchase it on the spot or something. Like I don't know, like it's gonna happen. It's probably tonight or something. I don't know. I don't know, but like
you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. But seeing that everywhere, it's like that's gonna be dope. It's just really gonna change. I feel like it's gonna change things up a bit, like like ad placements, like we see ads and stuff all around, but then these could be a little bit different, like with a kind of like ownership tied to it.
1,000%.
And man, just to kind of round it up and in closing, who's Illustrator? Like, and give us the perception of behind the scenes of what goes on in that world a little bit. And then what do you see the NFT space in the next 5 years?
Yeah, for sure. So Illustrator, like my moniker?
Yeah, your moniker.
Yeah. So I was not very sober when I came up with it, but like I was just thinking and so Illustrator is it's like a play on words. Like there's the slang illest, which means like like the best or something, and then Raider. So like that name came from like DJing is like the most like passionate hobby of mine, and as a selector you need to kind of choose the best, right? And so I was like, okay, Illestrater. Oh, and then I just thought of that.
It's a good play on words.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, that's who I'm gonna call myself, like as like a DJ.
Respect.
So that's where I came from. And I appreciate it. And then did you ask like as a collector and like
as a collector, like where do you see the NFTs? Where would you like to see? We were looking into a crystal ball right now.
Yeah.
We got Illustrator in the house. Just to give us what does the next 5 years of NFTs look like in your world?
I see is there a lot of things happening. Like I think DAOs are honestly like going to be huge, to be like open. Like the whole premise of blockchain is like open participation and access for anyone. And so like if that really truly plays out on a global scale, I can see it being a big thing. So DAOs, like communities coming together, collecting, and innovating, I think. And that's what crypto is. That's what blockchain is. And so I think that's a huge paradigm shift in the way that our world operates. Everything's like kind of like private, closed, like which leaves room for corruption and manipulation. But like when things are open and transparent, that's just a whole new, honest, collaborative game. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm excited about.
Hell yeah.
Love that, man. Love that. Well, we're happy that you're here for it. We're happy that you're here with us.
Yeah.
The space is better for having you in it, man. And I'm excited to see
that.
Excited to see all the projects you got in the works as well. So thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys. It's a pleasure.
Man, that was a great episode. I really loved hearing what he had to say. Very excited to see the kind of the iterative nature of how this tech continues to grow. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I mean, just how far we've come with how primitive things are is just a massive testament to the community, and how things will only continue to get that much more exciting and innovative. What stood out to you guys?
His passion for philanthropy. I mean, the fact that he has poured so much heart and soul into the Sevens Genesis grant at a time that, you know, he could have been directing that energy into more profitable ventures if he had wanted to, but he wanted to give back to the community. He put so much into it, and it's really paying dividends in terms of helping artists, access the space. And I think just his whole ethos on thinking about blockchain as an inclusive technology, and his actions speak very loudly.
Yeah, for sure. What did you think, Ale?
I couldn't agree more with Matt. I think that alignment with altruism of like, how do we can bring other people above? How can we make things better from so many different angles and perspectives, right? He was looking at it from an artist perspective, from a platform perspective, from a technology perspective, from a narrative perspective. I think it's a very wholesome approach to what he's doing. I think there's also that element of responsibility. When you hear him speak, he speaks with this sense of responsibility that's self-imposed, that it's hard to ignore. So I think I'm excited for him to continue taking it to the next level, and just seeing how he can shape the NFT community from his perspective.
1000%. Well, we'll be back next week. Thank you so much for your support. Until then, we out.